Yeah. And alrighty, Edward,
Yes, sir.
I could use your help.
Alrighty.
Looks like we're in the same place we were last night. Now, see, I'm not getting the projection up there from here.
Oh, that's because this right here doesn't show all this special stuff.
Oh, then
Oh,
how
wait,
do I
wait, wait.
know?
Oh, no, the video.
Yeah.
Right. So we're kind of having problems with this computer. The only way we'd be able to fix it is if we closed XSplit for a second and opened it up again.
Oh.
This week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Well, you heard the explanation. So,
So right now it's just audio.
okay, we're just going to go with an audio show this evening. So, oh well. Yeah. I did that for over 3 years, so what else? It's okay. If it's okay with you, it's okay with me. All righty then. We'll continue to roll. And again, this is KXVS.org. It is 5 p.m. And we're doing radio. And we're doing it over the web. And this will be recorded and replayed. And so we are KXVS, and we are a community radio station. Be glad to have you as a sponsor. You small business, medium business here in Stockton, we'd love to sponsor you. And yeah, it's a two-way street. You pay us money, and that's how we can keep our doors open and advance as an organization. And we talk about a lot about your business on the air. So you can't tell everything but prices, but that's 99% of it. So we go forward. And here are our current, I'm going to light things up in here. I'd rather have light than dark. Hotel Furniture Liquidators out at 1648 North Shaw Road, nearest Cross Street, East Fremont, just east of 99 across from Franklin High. Get furniture for your home. Gently used, plenty of life left in it, good stuff. Need books? Maybe want to sell books or trade for books? Look no further than the Miracle Mile Bookstore, 2210 Pacific Avenue, and Doors Book Recyclery, 2310 Pacific Avenue. Custom Plastics and Signs, they do plastic fabrication. They'll build you a display. Plastic sheets, rods, and tubes they have on hand in a wide variety of sizes and types of plastics. Signage, oh yeah, you've been seeing their work around town. Stencils, vehicle and boat graphics. They'll print you up a t-shirt or a silk screening. Business cards, yes. Custom Plastics and Signs at 326 East Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard here in Stockton. Millennium Computer Repair on the road for you. Give them a call at 209-922-1879. Very reasonable prices for parts, labor, software repair, hardware repair, used computers as well. That's Millennium Computer Repair, 209-922-1879. Habitat for Humanity Restore, new material arriving daily. Yes, tools, building materials, cleaning supplies, doors, windows, furniture, building accoutrements, HVAC, and electrical apparatus are there at Habitat for Humanity Restore, 4933 West Lane, 100 yards south of March Lane. Tender donuts, we bake fresh daily. 1304 East Hammer Lane, open at 4:30 Monday through Saturday and 5:30 on Sundays till 6. Tender Donuts, we bake fresh daily, 1304 East Hammer Lane. T-shirts printed, business cards printed. You're up in Lodi, get her done at Leaders T-shirt printing, 500 East Lodi Avenue at Garfield in Lodi. All righty, you can be a sponsor too. Love to talk you up. Love to have about 50, I could just tell right off, leading into a show. And mix it up once in a while, so, you know, ultimately everybody will get a top billing once in a while. We're going to be getting rolling here on the Islam Show momentarily. Coming up this Friday, November 2nd, here in Stockton at the Civic Memorial Auditorium. Hey, it's boxing. Kilo the Kid Madera, Blake the Beast McKernan, Hector Madera, Jose Iniguez, Manuel James, Matthew Guerrero, Marco Delgado, Angel Corden Jr. So, hey, it's one of the original Olympic sports, people. You know, it's every boy should go into the ring at least one time. I'm of that opinion. You know, you got to get in there and slug it out. You know, it'll teach you some self-worth. Maybe not, but that's my opinion. Learning experience that, hard to beat. Yeah. Yeah, you take one and you try to give one. But there are rules and they are supervised. All righty. So again, yeah, come and join the Voice of Stockton. Obviously, we're at thevoiceofstockton.org, and we're here at 231 West Bedford. And got plenty of things going on. We just had a function yesterday, so we'll be having those the last Saturday of each month. And so with that, let us get on to the Islam Show. And I know it's radio only. Okay, looks like we have 5:06 p.m. and I got my computer set up over there, so we're going forward. 3, 2, 1. Wait a minute, wrong button. And bam. Okay. Oh, got to do the setup. That is the billboard 2018 10/28. Okay. Sunday Islam Show. Yo. And here we go with an okay. We got 5:07 p.m., 3, 2, 1, start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, listeners of KXVS.org. I am Richard Slezak. This is a Sunday evening Islam show for October 28th. We're going to migrate to the big table. I don't want to get snagged up in my cord. Bang. And alrighty-us. I got all the cameras pointed this way, but we're not doing any video. And here we go. All right. And let me just get my computer rolling here. We're going to be continuing with the Bukhari Hadith Sunnah collection book 49 on peacemaking. We have about 10 or so more to do. Okay, somehow this thing said I got it wrong, so give it another try. Oh, there we go. And get the big file out. Less complicated than going onto the internet. And let's see. Bam. Here we go. I want to open my Sahih al-Bukhari. I got about a year or so ago. I was doing some web research in the houseofislam.org. Wow! You could get a PDF of the whole Bukhari, Hadith, and Sunnah complete? Sure, bang. You know, free, they didn't charge. And this is, you know, an important little fact because we're, you know, we like to get real accusatory. Islam's pretty open about what they're about and accessing their holy writ. So that's a good thing. Now, let's, I can see by the audition screen some of my speech hasn't been getting through. And so therefore, I'm going to have to be close to the microphone. And book 34. And book 41. Book 46. Book 49, 872. Okay, now we got to go back up to 867. There we go. All righty. Looks like we, okay. I got my show plan here. Paper doesn't forget. And we had a 5:07 show start. And looks like we have 5:11 for the Bukhari, Volume 3, Book 49, Hadith Sunnah number 867. And here we go. Narrated Al-Hasan al-Basri by Allah, Al-Hasi bin Ali, led large battalions like mountains against Muawiyah. This sounds like it's around 631. And continuing, Amr bin Al-Az said to Muawiyah, I surely see battalions which will not turn back before killing their opponents. Muawiyah, who was really the best of the two men, said to him, O Amr, if these killed those and those killed these, who would be left with me for the jobs of the public? Who would be left with me for their women? Who would be left with me for their children? Then Muawiyah sent 2 Qurayshi men from the tribe of Abd-i-Shams called Abdurrahman bin Samura and Abdullah bin Amr bin Qurayz to Al-Hasan, saying to them, go to their man, in other words, Al-Hasan, and negotiate peace with him, and talk and appeal to him. So they went to Al-Hasan and talked and appealed to him to accept peace. Al-Hasan said, "We, the offspring of Abdul Muttalib, have got wealth and people have indulged in killing and corruption, and money only will appease them." They said to Al-Hasan, "Muawiyah offers you so-and-so and appeal to you and entreats you to accept peace." Al-Hasan said to them, "But who will be responsible for what you have said?" They said, "We will be responsible for it." So whatever Al-Hasan asked, they said, "We will be responsible for it for you." So Al-Hasan concluded a peace treaty with Muawiyah. Al-Hasan al-Basri said, "I heard Abu Bakr saying, 'I saw Allah's apostle on the pulpit, and Al-Hasan bin Ali was by his side. The Prophet was looking once at the people and once at Al-Hasan bin Ali, saying, 'This son of mine is a Sayyid,' in other words, a noble. And may Allah make peace between the two big groups of Muslims through him." Okay. 868, narrated Aisha, so this is definitely during the Medinan period. Once Allah's apostle heard the loud voices of some opponents quarreling at the door. One of them was appealing to the other to deduct his debt and asking him to be lenient, but the other was saying, "By Allah, I will not do so." Allah's apostle went out to them and said, "Who is the one who was swearing by Allah that he would not do a favor?" That man said, "I am that person, O Allah's apostle. I will give my opponent whatever he wishes." 869, narrated Abdullah bin Ka'b bin Malik from Ka'b bin Malik. That is Abdullah, son of Ka'b bin Malik, and Ka'b bin Malik is the son of Malik. Ka'b is the son of Malik. Anyways, Abdullah bin Abu Hadrad al-Aslami owed Ka'b bin Malik some money. One day the latter met the former and demanded his right, and their voices grew very loud. The Prophet passed by them and said, "O Ka'b," beckoning with his hand as if intending to say, "Deduct half the debt." So Ka'b took half what the other owed him and remitted the other half. 870, narrated Abu Huraira, who remembered many hadith sunnah during the, apparently for the most part, during the Medinan era. Allah's apostle said, "There is sadaqah to be given for every joint of the human body, and for every day on which the sun rises, there is a reward of sadaqah," in other words, charitable gift, "for the one who establishes justice among the people." Volume 3, Book 49, number 871. Narrated Urwa bin Az-Zubair, it's another companion of Muhammad's. Az-Zubair told me that he quarreled with an Ansari man who had participated in the Battle of Badr in front of Allah's apostle about a water stream which both of them used for irrigation. Allah's apostle said to Az-Zubair, "Zubair, irrigate your garden first, and then let the water flow to your neighbor." The Ansari became angry and said, "O Allah's apostle, it is because he is your cousin? On that, the complexion of Allah's apostle changed because of anger and said to Az-Zubair, irrigate your garden and then withhold the water till it reaches the walls surrounding the palms. So Allah's apostle gave Az-Zubair his full right. Before that, Allah's apostle had given a generous judgment beneficial for Az-Zubair and the Ansari. But when the Arisen irritated Allah's apostle, he gave Az-Zubair his full right according to the evident law. Az-Zubair said, by Allah, I think the following verse was revealed concerning that case. But know by your Lord, they can have no faith until they make you judge in all disputes between them. And the trouble is, they spell no, not K-N-O-W, but N-O. Oh boy. And this is number 871, verse 465, revealed. Well, this is rather good timing, because right after we finish this book 49, we're going to be reading Surah 4. So here is a case of where history is, we're parallel between the Hadith Sunnah and the Quran. Now, book 49, number 872, narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. My father died and was in debt. I suggested that his creditors take the fruit, in other words, dates, of my garden in lieu of the debt of my father, but they refused the offer, as they thought that it would not cover the full debt. So I went to the Prophet and told him about it. He said to me, when you pluck the dates and collect them in the Merbad, in other words, a place where dates are dried, call me, and that means Allah's apostle. Finally, he came accompanied by Abu Bakr and Umar, and sat on the dates and invoked Allah to bless them. Then he said, call your creditors and give them their full rights. So I paid all my father's creditors in full, and yet 13 extra wasks of dates remained, 7 of which were arwa and 6 were laun, or 6 of which were arwa and 7 were laun. I met Allah's apostle at sunset and informed him about it. On that he smiled and said, go to Abu Bakr and Umar and tell them about it. They said, we perceived that was going to happen as Allah's apostle did what he did. And some might claim that was food multiplying. Then others would claim, no, they just accepted a lower quantity. Now, this is the last Hadith Sunnah of Book 49, number 873, narrated Abdullah bin Ka'b, that Ka'ab bin Malik told him that in the lifetime of Allah's apostle, he demanded his debt from Ibn Abu Hadrad in the mosque. Their voices grew louder, but Allah's apostles heard them while he was in his house. So he lifted the curtain of his room and called Ka'ab bin Malik, saying, O Ka'ab. He replied, Labbaik, O Allah's apostle. He beckoned to him with his hand, suggesting that he deduct half the debt to Ka'ab, and said, I agree, O Allah's apostle. Allah's apostle then said to Ibn Abu Hadrad, get up and pay him the rest. And so that ends, that seems to be a repeat, but there are many of those. Apparently there's 2,600, but there's actually 9,000 and 7,000 are a repeat of the 2,600 or 6,000 or so, but no big. Some are only one-timers, but there are some that are very much multiple. 4 is not unknown. Alrighty, with that, let us set the computer aside, and I'm going to get my Quran, the glorious Quran, out. It is 5:26, so let me mark that. 5:26 p.m. Book 49 done. Alrighty-us. Continue to march here. Oh, my. Matter of fact, I might as well just turn the computer off, since I won't be... no, I'll just set it over here and tend to it later. You can just put it aside. Ooh, it's getting warm in the studio. And let us get our glorious Quran out. Over here at the engineers area, radio engineering, and we're 525. This is KXVS.org. I am Richard Slezak. This is the Sunday Islam Show. And yes, we're about 20 minutes into it. Oh my. Alrighty. Continue to roll. And got the glorious Quran, a 1991 Turkish translation. So the English idioms are of that time, as is true with other translations. A lot of it is the vocabulary at the time of English, so this is somewhat reflective of that time. And the translators were not original in English speakers. Be that as it may. This Quran also has extensive footnotes in it, and I'll be reading the footnotes as well. So again, it's Surah 4, An-Nisa, that is the women. It's revealed at Medina. Nisa means women, and much of this section of the Holy Book treats of the legal position and standing of women in sacred society. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful, O mankind, have fear of Allah, who created you from a single soul, and from it created its mate, and from the two of them spread abroad a multitude of men and women. Fear Allah, in whom you claim your mutual rights, and toward the wombs that bear you, Allah is ever watching over you. Oh, interesting. And we have 529, Surah 4, the glorious Quran, spelled with a Q, Quran, whereas my 1956 translation spells Quran with a K. So differences of 34 years. Continuing, we're here on page 76. Now, verse 1 references one soul, two people, man and woman, father, mother of human race. Sounds a lot like Adam and Eve. Give orphans the property which belongs to them. Exchange not the good for the bad in the way you manage their property, nor absorb their wealth into your own wealth. Indeed, that would be a great sin. And if you fear that you will not deal fairly with the orphans, marry women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you fear that you cannot deal justly with so many, then one only, or the captives that your right hand possesses. Thus it is more likely that you will not do injustice. A footnote. By this verse, the sacred institution of polygamy, recognized in the Mosaic Law, practiced by Solomon and Charlemagne, and defended by Martin Luther, is confirmed. From now on, however, a limitation is introduced. Men must confine themselves to no more than 4 women. Further, if they so much as fear that they may not be able to treat them justly, they are obliged to marry only one. Elsewhere in the traditions of the Blessed Prophet, Muslims are commanded to provide equally for each spouse and to give them separate and equivalent accommodation. As a result, the institution, despite its advantages for both sexes, is often confined to the more prosperous sections of society. Verse 4, and give to the women whom you marry their dowry with a good heart, but if they of their own good pleasure remit any part of it to you, take it and enjoy it without fear of any harm, as Allah made it lawful. Do not give the weak of understanding, minors and the mentally deficient, the property which Allah has given you to maintain, but clothe them from it and speak kindly to them. Put orphans to the test until they reach the age of marriage. Then if you find them of sound judgment, deliver over to them their property, and devour it not by squandering and in haste, lest they grow up. If the guardian is rich, let him claim no remuneration. But if he is poor, let him have for himself what is just and reasonable. when you release their property to them, have the transaction witnessed in their presence. Allah is sufficient as a reckoner. Verse 7, from what is left by parents and those nearest related, there is a share for men and a share for women, whether the property be small or large, a legal share. If at the time of division other relatives, orphans, or poor are present, they exist, give them out from the property and speak to them kindly. Thank you, Eddie. Footnote. The above two verses are typical of the sort of social amelioration brought by Islam. In the pagan period before the Blessed Prophet came, women were deprived of the right to inherit, and this was established, and this verse established their rights in this regard. Secondly, we note that provision is made not simply for those relatives, but also for more distant kinfolk, as well as neighbors and the local poor, in order to dispel any ill feelings that might have been generated during a person's lifetime, especially concerning the means by which the property was acquired. Verse 9, let those fear in disposing of an estate as they would fear for their own if they left behind a helpless family. Let them fear Allah and speak correctly. Oh, wow. Verse 9 demands Muslims provide for their families. And verse 10, those who devour the wealth of orphans wrongfully do but swallow fire into their bellies, they will be exposed to blazing flame. Allah thus commands you concerning the division for your children, to the male a portion equal to that of two females. And if there be women more than two, then their share is 2/3 of the inheritance. And if only one, her share is a half, and to his parents 1/6 of the inheritance. If the deceased left children, if he has no children, and the parents are the only heirs, the mother has 1/3. If he left brothers or sisters, the mother has 1/6. The division in all cases is after the payments of legacies and debts. You know not which of your parents or your children are more beneficial to you. These are settled portions commanded by Allah, and Allah is knowing, wise. A footnote. In this verse, it is to be noted how a balance is carefully struck between shares and responsibility. Those who are charged with the responsibility of taking care of other people are to receive a larger share. Under Islamic law, the party which provides the dowry at marriage is the man, not the woman, and he too is legally obligated to take care of expenses incurred during the wedding and the marriage itself, such as expenditure on food, clothing, and shelter of the wife, children, and near relations. In the light of this, Islamic law grants men a larger share, in most cases, of inheritance. Verse 12. And you will inherit half of your wife's share if they leave no child. But if they leave a child, then you, the fourth of that which they leave, after payment of legacies, they may have bequeathed or debt. And to them belongs the fourth of that which you leave, if you have no child. But if you have a child, then the eighth of that which you leave, after any legacy, you may have bequeathed or debt. And if a man or woman whose inheritance is in question has left neither ascendants nor descendants, but has left a brother or a sister, each one of the two shall have a sixth. But if they be more than two, they shall share in the third after any legacy which may have been bequeathed or debt, so that no loss is caused to anyone. This is the ordinance of Allah. Allah is knowing, gentle. Footnote: the Arabic word kalela, here rendered neither ascendants nor descendants, is nowhere defined authoritatively in the lifetime of Muhammad. Umar, may God be pleased with him, later remarked that there were 3 items which he wished had been defined by the blessed prophets in the blessed prophet's lifetime. Khalifa, riba, and it looks like kalala. On the accepted definition, we follow in the translation, we are concerned with the inheritance of a person who has left no descendants or ascendant, however remote, but only collaterals, with or without a widow or widower. If there is a widow or widower surviving, she or he takes the share as already defined before the collaterals come in. These are the limits set by Allah. Whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, He will make him enter gardens beneath which rivers flow, where such will dwell forever. That will be the great success. And whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger and transgresses His limits, Allah will make him enter fire to dwell there forever. His will be a humiliating punishment. A footnote: the legal system of the world, systems of the world have adopted different arrangements in regard to inheritance law. In many secular systems, we find that the testator has the right to deprive his immediate family of any inheritance whatsoever, even if he is old and cantankerous. while a portion of the deceased funds may indeed be disposed as he specifies in a will, a fixed percentage must be distributed to relations according to the shares specified in detail in the preceding passages. Sounds pretty good to me. That's, that stuff does happen. Rich people not wanting their kids to get anything. Ooh, man. We have 5:45 here at the Voice of Stockton. We're going through Surah 4. And let's see. Verse 15. As for those of your women who are guilty of adultery or fornication, call to witness 4 of you against them. And if they testify to their guilt, then confine them to the houses until death takes them, or till Allah finds another way for them through new legislation. Yeah, that did not, apparently, now this came forth around 626. Muhammad passed in 632. Changes came. This did not stay this way. So take note. And verse 15. Oh man. Okay. Okay, adulterous. Fornicatress. Four witnesses.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
And must all testify to guilt, punishment, sealed in apartment unto death. All righty. Oh, let me do a engineering check here, people. Voop. And what do we have going on over here on Radio DJ? Should be okay. Come on, Radio DJ. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, 546 here at KXVS.org, the voice of Stockton coming to you. Yeah, all righty. Things are rolling along just fine. Continuing. Yeah, that was verse 15. And there's a specific term for that punishment. One of these days I'll get it to you. The governor is in the building with a guest, and we'll be going until about 6:10. As for the 2 of you who are guilty of it, punish them both. And if they repent, mend their ways, leave them alone. Allah is forgiving and merciful. Oh, wow. Verse 16. Adulterer and adulteress. Punish If they repent, mend ways, leave alone. Oh, well, the women were executed. Oh, boy. The above two verses relate to the crimes of adultery and fornication. The first verse deals with adultery proper, where one of the parties or both are married, whereas in the second verse the parties are unmarried people. In another surah, new rules are laid down which replace and abrogate that passage, verses 15 and 16 of Surah 4 that came forth around 626, Amini Deo. According to the interpretation of verse 2 of Surah Al-Nur, if the person who commits this crime is a married person, the punishment of stoning is applied, whereas if he or she is single and has not been married, 100 lashes are administered on the rather difficult condition that 4 witnesses to the actual act are forthcoming. According to other interpreters of the Holy Quran, however, the present passage is not abrogated, rather than adultery being the theme. It deals with inversion, the first verse dealing with lesbianism, whereas the second addresses male homosexuality. Something was lost in translation, folks. Because when the Quran was originally written, it was just consonants. It was consonantal. It was going to be another 100 to 150 years before the vowels were added. That one could have been lost. Translation loss. Oh, wrong meaning possible. I'm moving over a page. Okay. Verse 17. Allah accepts the repentance of those who do evil in ignorance and then quickly turn to Allah in repentance. Those are they whom Allah pardons, and Allah is ever knower wise. Forgiveness is not for those who do ill deeds until when death comes upon them. He says, "Now I repent," nor yet for those who die while they are disbelievers. For such we have prepared a painful punishment. O you who believe, it is not lawful for you to inherit women against their will, not to put constraint on them, that you may take away a part of that which you have given them, unless they be guilty of open lewdness. Treat them with kindness, for even if you hate them, it may be that you hate a thing in which Allah has placed such good. Footnote. Before Islam, it was customary among the Arab tribes to treat women like chattel. If a woman's husband died, she would become part of his estate. She would be forced to marry against her will, or would be sold as though she were a commodity, or be used for any other material gain. With the revelation of this verse, this practice came to an end, and women who were candidates for salvation too were given the dignity and respect they deserved. Alrighty. We got 5:55 here at the KXVS.org. Verse 20 of Surah 4, if you wish to divorce a woman in order to wed another, you have given her a whole treasure as dowry. Take not the least part of it back. Would you take it by way of calumny and open wrong? A footnote. In an obligatory customary, it is an obligatory customary, should be custom, in Islamic marriage that when a man marries a woman, he gives her a certain amount as a gift in the form of gold, jewelry, currency, or property, or other material good, as specified by her and her family. This is called mahr, M-A-H-R. This can be given in advance before the marriage, once they decide to get married, or alternatively, it can be postponed to be paid either in case of a divorce or on the death of the husband, the option being in the bride's hand. Under Islamic law, it is illegal for men to deprive their wives of the money, the purpose of which is to give her a degree of financial independence. All kinds of abuse, pressure, and harassment are prohibited and are actionable in a court of law. So there it is. You know, you might want to ridicule it, but there it is, folks. I'm not. You know, just trying to establish some good order. Verse 21. How can you take it back when one of you has gone into the other and they have taken a strong pledge from you? Footnote. A man who marries a woman and has sex with her and later decides to divorce her is obligated to give her mahr in full, however brief the marriage may have been. If the marriage contract has been completed, but the man did not consummate the marriage, then the woman takes half of the dowry, whatever it might be. Verse 22. And marry not those women whom your fathers married, except what has already happened of that nature in the past. It was always a foulness and an abomination and an evil way. Footnote. The above verse also abrogates the practice whereby a stepson would marry a man's widow, as was sometimes the case in the pre-Islamic days of ignorance. The next verse specifies the forbidden degrees of marriage. Verse 23, forbidden to you are your mothers and your daughters and your sisters and your father's sisters and your mother's sisters and your brother's daughters and your sister's daughters and your fathers and your foster mothers and your foster sisters and your mother-in-law and your stepdaughters who are under your protection, born of your women unto whom you have gone in, but if you have not gone into them, then it is no sin for you to marry their daughters, and the wives of your sons who spring from your own loins. And it is forbidden to you that you have two sisters together, except what had already happened of that nature before Islam. That's in parentheses. In the past, surely Allah is ever forgiving, merciful. Well, Moses married 3 sisters. Oops. Heck, Isaac married 2. So, it's not unknown. 6 p.m., you are webtuned to the KXVS.org. I am Richard Slezak. This is the Sunday Islam Show. And we're going through Surah 4. Okay, verse 25. Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, no. Footnote. Concerning the part of the above verse, that's verse 23, that reads, your women to whom you have gone in, but if you have not gone into them, then it is no sin for you to, in parentheses, to marry their daughters, continuing. The meaning is that you cannot marry the daughter of a woman you have made a contract to marry. If the marriage contract is performed, but the actual consummation has not taken place, and a divorce follows, he is not barred from marrying any daughter of the woman the woman might have had by another man. Although there are some distant relatives who are able to marry with each other, marriage with close relatives is forbidden both by the Holy Quran and the noble hadiths. Verse 24, and all married women, in parentheses, are forbidden to you, continuing, except those your right hands possess. It is a decree of Allah for you. Lawful to you are all beyond those mentioned, so that you seek them with your wealth in honest wedlock, not in fornication. Those of whom you seek content, in parentheses, by marrying them, give to them their portions as a duty, and there is no sin for you in what you do by mutual agreement after the duty, in parentheses, has been done, continuing. Allah is ever knower, wiser. Footnote. Among some religions, the custom exists of giving a dowry to the husband, not the wife. This is a practice known among the Hindus, Armenians, Jews, and Greeks. In those cultures, this is regarded as a means by which a woman can attract a man. Islam, however, enacts the opposite. It is assumed that a Muslim man will not prefer wealth but chastity and dignity. Because of this, it is the man who gives a financial gift to the woman. Verse 25, if any of you is not able to afford to marry from the free believing women, let them marry from the believing women whom your right hands possess. Allah knows best your faith. You are one from another, so wed them by permission of their families and give them their portions in kindness. They being honest, not debauched or of loose conduct. And if when they are honorably married they commit adultery, they shall incur the half of the punishment prescribed for a free woman, in parentheses, in this case, continuing. This is for him among you who fears to commit sin, but to have patience would be better for you. Allah is forgiving, merciful. Footnote, adultery and fornication are forbidden in all higher religions. Neither is it lawful, as some suppose, for a couple to marry for a fixed period of time at a certain price. The intention has to be permanent. To keep a mistress in secret is no more than a form of adultery. A Muslim man, when he marries, should prefer a believing free woman. A Muslim man can also marry from among the people of the book, in other words, Jews and Christians. The above passage, which states that you are one from another, shows the importance of treating slaves kindly. The dignity of a man or a woman, whether slave or free, is immensely important. By means of the kind of treatment of captive slaves in times of war, captives can be led to Islam, appreciating its emphasis on compassion and justice. There can be no greater contract than the difference of emphasis between an Islamic order in which temporary enslavement is possible for some, and the modern nation-state in which permanent slavery is obligatory for all. Well, that's a totalitarian or brutally authoritarian state. Verse 26, Allah will explain to you and guide you by examples of those who were before you and would turn to you in mercy. Allah is knower, wise. All right, that's a good place to stop. Read up to through page 81, verse 26. Okay, and we have 607 and read to verse 26, page 81. All righty. Okay, folks, that's it for this evening's Islam show. A pretty good lesson this evening. Stuff to consider. And with that, let me do some engineering work here. All right. And, okay, looks like we have, oh my. Now, we're not quite at 1 hour in. Trouble is, we're closing right in on it. And, there it just went to 1 hour. Okay, folks. All righty. Have a good week. Talk to you next Sunday. All righty. We're still on the air, though. That was the recorded portion of the Sunday Islam show. All right. Just doing radio. The XSplit is having problems. So with that, putting things away here, and I think I'll just go ahead and resume things on the radio DJ. And with that, we got some, wait a minute. Let me see what we got coming up here. Okay, we have, looks like an ad. Then Heather Evans, The Good Life. El Pregonero, La Hustle, Enough, Freakazoid, that's coming up number 6, and Alex Feet, Fright, Pocket, Pook Nut, oh, that's coming up 7th. All righty. Let me see here, back on the audition, and close it up. All right, all right. And okay, with that, let's get up here what kind of stuff we got. And stop and restart, I guess. No, that don't do nothing.
Reconnect with friends
There
on
we
RTD.
go.
A new route
Let's
is opening
launch.
soon with Bus Rapid Transit Express service across Midtown Stockton from Franklin High to the DMV. Ride for free the first week of service from January 28th until February 3rd. Come hear all about it at the Children's Museum on Thursday, January 25th at 4 p.m. Visit sjrtd.com/express to learn about Midtown Corridor Route 47. The places you can go on RTD. Faster.
The places you can go on RTD.